You scroll through hundreds of job descriptions, but they all sound the same. You spend so much time on every application, but it doesn't seem to matter. You send off application after application, but never hear back. You thought the interview went so well, but it's a no. You jump through all the hoops. The news keeps saying how there are all these employers that are struggling to find people to hire. So why does finding a great job have to be so hard? It doesn't seem very logical or fair. It's not. The system is broken. It's not your fault. The process most people go through to get a job is awful. But here's the good news. The system isn't very smart. In fact, it's downright dumb. It can be beaten. How? Most prospective employers and employees today are using the same old tired strategies that have been around forever. It's like professional camouflage. Everybody just blends into the crowd. But you don't have to be that way anymore. You can get traction. You can stand out from the crowd to unleash your God-given potential, to help a world in need, to do work that matters, to earn what you and your family deserve. You can do this. You're meant to do this. There are bright things on the horizon for you. This is the way. Welcome to the workshop. Get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope. My name is Eric Woodard. I'm a high-performance career and leadership coach based out of Washington, D.C. And if you're joining us here on this fabulous Tuesday, so for some of you, I know it's morning. For some of you, I know it's afternoon already. I just want to acknowledge you for being here, know how valuable your time is. And the fact that you're here just speaks volumes. Now, look, if you're watching the replay of this, you're not quite as cool as the people who are here live, but also pretty cool. So I see so many of you, and we've got a big crowd here today. So if you would put it in the chat where you're from and how long you've been on the job search, because I want to know, because a lot of you are in good company. I promise there, Amy from Atlanta and Rodolfo from Arkansas, and hi, Deborah and Mayank from the Garden State, and Stacy from Denver. Because look, sometimes being on a long job hunt, Hassan in Detroit and Matthew and Vital in Tampa and Patrick in Oklahoma and Gabrielle in Massachusetts and Brian in Tennessee can feel like pounding sand. I see you there, Huda in New York and Todd in Minnesota. Sometimes it can feel like waiting on a glacier, Tina in Dallas and Moshin in South Carolina and Michelle in the Windy City and William in Tampa Bay and Stephanie in Cincinnati. Wes in Fort Wayne, sometimes it can feel like wandering in the desert. I see you there, Cheryl, 2 months. Right? I see there, Teresa in South Carolina. Sometimes it can feel like going into an arena, Desmond in Arkansas and Ibrahima in North Carolina and Nathan in Minnesota. And sometimes it can even feel like looking into an abyss, Lisa in Texas and Roy in Boston and Leonardo right close here in DC and Potomac, Travis in Charleston, South Carolina. So who's this for? Hey there, John in Denver. If you are unsure about the direction you want your career to go, hey there, Jay in Chicago and Don in Minneapolis. If you're struggling to find ways to describe what you do, Natalia in Kansas City and Nakia in Philly. If you're uncertain if your resume is any good, Sam in Minnesota. A lot of people are in Minnesota today and Wisconsin. If you've been wrestling to find out how to follow up after you apply, if you're tired of applying and then you hear nothing back, if you've been doing interviews that seem to go great and then you get a big fat no, if you're trapped in a job that you don't like and you're not sure how to escape, hey there, Jason in Fairfax represent. And especially if you're losing hope, Charlie in Minnesota for the win. This could be a workshop for you. Hey there, Christopher, 3 months for you. I see you. So who's this not for? If you're somebody who's kind of super casual about your career, not willing to do any work, right? I see you there, Jason, Fairfax. If you're reluctant to take responsibility for the results you've been getting, if you're just interested in finding a job to make money, if you're kind of stuck in your ways and closed-minded about trying new things, Patrick in Vermont, if you're unwilling to be authentic, then this may not be the workshop for you. I see you there, Jay, almost 3 years. It's been a while for you, man. So what we're going to talk about today, hey there, Brooke in Pennsylvania, how to get hired fast without settling, get ignored, or losing hope. I see you there, Trapped. I see you there, T. Johnson. I'm going to offer you 4 strategies and 9 tactics that you can put to work today to help get hired fast, get out of the situation you're in so that you can do work that matters and pays what you and your family deserve. So look, our agenda for today, folks, and we got a big crowd. So I'm going to get to as many questions and everything as we can. I'm just going to tell you briefly. We're going to go real fast, a little bit about who I am. Some of you know who I am and a lot of you probably don't. You're like, I just got an invite from that guy. Who the hell's that guy? I'm just going to tell you a little bit about where I'm coming from. Hey there, Brian in Massachusetts. I'm going to offer you 4 strategies and 9 tactics that you can put to work right away in your job search. And then I have an invitation for some of you, right? Some of you have signed up for this call because you've had friends, you've had family. Hey there, Tracy in Boston, that, we've gotten help. Like we've helped them get hired real damn fast. We've, especially like last 8 weeks, a lot of clients with a lot of job offers. That's a lot of clients with a lot of job offers. That's why we've got almost 250 people in this workshop right now. So if that's something you're already interested in, it's something you already know you want to do. We just dropped the link to book a call with us if you want to explore that. Only 3 requirements. 1, you're going to be like ready to get started to get hired. You don't want to wait around. You don't want to get hired next year. 2, you're not going to book guys, this is really important. Don't book a call and then don't show up. Like, don't do that. My team's not that big. We got a lot of people on this call today. We already are still doing calls from last week. So don't book a call and then not show up. And 3, you want somebody to invest in you. You're going to want to be at least open to the idea of investing in yourself. So if that's not something you want to do, don't book a call. On the other hand, and that's what it looks like to book a call. We're going to talk more about that. And then we're going to have time for Q&A. I'm going to try to be real efficient today so we can get to as many questions as possible. Hey there, Adolfo in Boca Raton. Right, Mohammed, you had a career gap. I hear you. Okay, so who is this guy and why does he think he can help me find a job? Well, I don't know if I can help you find a job. That's partly the reason we want people to book calls, because I don't know if we can help you. We've helped a lot of people. Here's where I'm coming from. I grew up overseas. I grew up in Asia, came to the States when I was 17. I wound up transferring college 7 times. 7 times, right? Here I am in the Midwest wondering, why the hell is it so cold? Right? After transferring so many times, I wound up as a scuba instructor on the island of Guam. And that was pretty fun. I spent about 10,000 hours underwater with the fish, but my brain got a little bit spongy there. Right? So it got a little bit spongy. So I was like, well, I got to figure out this career thing. What would be the most prestigious job in the world I could have? And I thought, well, that must be something like the White House, obviously. So I took out a piece of paper and a pen and I wrote a letter to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And I said, dear Mr. President, you should hire me. I actually still have a copy of this letter. It's one of the worst cover letters that's ever been written. Mailed that sucker off. Figured I'm never hearing back from those guys. But that got, about a month later, I was going past the Guam post office and the guy leaned out the window. He's like, Eric, you got a letter from the White House. And it was on this real fancy White House stationery, and it opened up and it was an internship application. Now, I didn't know what the hell an internship was, but I was really good at filling out applications because I transferred college so many times. So I filled that out, sent it in, and I'm like, I'm never hearing back on that. But at least I had that cool envelope, right? Cool envelope. And I didn't hear back. But then I started applying, it got me thinking. I applied to some grad schools. I got into GW here in DC, and I sort of landed with a big bushy haircut and a backpack and was dumpster diving for furniture. And I was out running. Hey, Jessica B. Wow, you were an early bird, Jessica. You booked a call early. Jessica, you must know about our program. So guys, we have that free LinkedIn course. Let's make sure we send, she's the first one to book a call. We're going to talk. Let's send Jessica that free LinkedIn course. Wow, Jessica, you booked early. I see you there, Michelle. So I thought those White House bastards, they never even bothered to let me know about that internship thing. So I found a payphone, I put in a quarter, and I said, hey, you White House people, what about that internship thing? And they're like, is this Eric from Guam? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, man, we've been trying to get in touch with you. You start in the First Lady's office on Monday. So I thought, well, that's interesting. So I got a haircut and I bought a suit and I showed up. Now, look, folks, I don't know your politics. There's a lot of crazy politics going on in our country right now. So if my politics don't match yours, please forgive me. This is going to tell you how old I am, despite like this beautiful, right? This is back during the Clinton administration, right? I went to work for Hillary Rodham Clinton. She was a great boss. I wound up getting hired on her staff eventually, wound up following. So I was with her for a lot of the Clinton administration at the White House, followed her to the U.S. Senate, where we represented the great state of New York. And then eventually I followed her to the State Department, where I did a bunch of UNESCO stuff. And then after that, I became director of fellowships and internships at the Smithsonian Institution. And then I eventually started my own coaching practice. And all during this time, working with people at all different levels, right? Early professionals, mid-career professionals, senior executives, all different disciplines. I keep seeing the same movie where people who are trying to figure out the working world are grappling with the system that doesn't work very well. And a lot of the guidance that's out there, and that's what we're going to talk a lot about today, is not very useful. It doesn't work. And those of you I saw who have been on the job hunt for months and months and years, like, how's that going? So the opportunity for you is to do different things to get different results. That's what we're going to talk about today. So look, now I coach a lot of people, help a lot of people get hired. I've written a ton of books. I have an outrageous number of very impressive credentials, all right, glowing testimonials, and you don't care about any of that. Because what you care about is, can I help you? I don't know, maybe, probably. Let's find out. So 4 strategies to get you hired fast. So look, guys, the way this works is there's a little bit of delay. Ready to shake it up, Stacy. That's right. Between when I ask questions and when you answer. So, but I like to give stuff away. So here's my first question. What's a good resume about? Put it in the chat if you would, please. J.A. booked a call. So we've got a free LinkedIn course we're going to send to J.A. Nice work, J.A. So what's a good resume about? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Let's see if anybody gets this right. Oh, Jason says selling yourself. I see you there, Jason Clark. Lucretia says work history. Okay. George says value proposition. Let's see if anybody gets the right answer. What's a good resume about? Peter says a marketing doc, solving a customer problem. Ooh, Martin, I like your answer, Martin. It's not a bad answer, right? Getting noticed, catering to ATS, says Daniel. Right? Opening the door, getting through the gate, stating what you can do for them. It's close, John. It's not exactly right, though, right? I don't see to one that can pass AI, positioning yourself, right? Rebecca says AI, selling yourself, says Chris. Ooh, Eric says me, how you can help them, keywords. Okay, guys, I love these answers and nobody's gotten it right. What you can do for them. Nope. Nobody's got the right answer yet. Selling yourself. Okay, so we're going to give this to Martin. Right. So Martin said trust, and that's hold on a second. John Wasalunas, you got the right answer. So let's make sure we give it. John's on LinkedIn. So let's make sure, John, if we don't have your contact info, make sure you message me on LinkedIn so we can make sure that you get this free LinkedIn course, how to make your LinkedIn profile awesome. John was the right one. So we're going to give this course to you, John, and Martin too, earlier in the chat. Guys, we have Jessa and Chris helping us today. So make sure you say nice things to Jessa and Chris. They're helping us out. So Martin and John Wasalunas, we're going to give you this free LinkedIn course. Now, some of you guys are saying, but I said how I can help them. No, it's not how. Hey, and Tracy J, you booked a call. Nice job. It's not how you can help them. It's just about them. A lot of you are saying a good resume is about you. Nah, good resume is not about you. We want to be in. Hey, Joey H, you booked a call. Nice job, right? And let's make sure we take care of Joey with this course, by the way, guys. Good resume is not about you. You want to be influential with another human. The first thing you're going to want to talk about is them, right? That's what you're going to want to talk about, right? You're going to want to talk about them, not yourself. So a good resume isn't about you. A good resume is about them. And when I say resume, I'm talking about your cover letter, your follow-up, your networking, your interview. It's all about them. Folks, if you get nothing else out of this workshop today and you get this, it'll be worth your time. Good resume is not about you. Good resume is about them. And it's not even about what you can do for them. It's just about them. Amy G booked a call. All right, Amy G, we're going to set you up with this free LinkedIn course because you booked a call. Nice job. Okay, so strategy number 1. It's not about you, it's about them. So many job seekers, probably a lot of you who've been on the job hunt for a while, are like, me. Let me sell myself. Let me talk all about myself. It's not working because employers aren't thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. So make the application about them. And it's no wonder that we often think that a good resume is about us because very likely the first resume we ever did was coming out of school. And in school, it is about us. From the first day, it's our cubby, it's our desk, it's our worksheet, it's our diploma, it's our transcript. It's all about us. And yet when we move to the working world, it's about the customer, the constituent, the client, the shareholder. It's not about us. It's about them. All right. You're so welcome, John. Here we go. I got another one for you. I like to give stuff away. If I went to a library and I found a shelf full of storybooks and I looked at the front cover of all of those storybooks, there'd be some words. What do we call those words in English? Let's see if anybody gets this right. Right? Let's see if anybody gets this right. What do we call those words on the front cover of a storybook? So Mohammed, you want to book a call? That's okay, Mohammed. We're going to give the link away again. Keep watching. All right. So Amber. Okay. So I see a couple of early birds here. Right. So Patrick Swanson and Martin, I think you might be the Martin. Martin's fast here. So Martin, Patrick, and Amber Hughes. Let's give it to Michael Tisdale too, right? You guys are going to get the free LinkedIn course about how to make your LinkedIn profile, because you're right, it's title. And I see a lot of others of you, right? You're right, it's called title. Now, isn't it interesting that's the same term we use to label people in the workplace, title? Which tells me that just like we'll put a title on the story of somebody's career, just like we put the title on a storybook, which brings us to the opportunity of stories. I got another question for you, folks. What percent of human decision-making is emotional and what percent is logical? Put it in the chat if you would, please. And Kyle, I saw you booked a call. Nice job, Kyle. We're going to take care of you with that course, right? What percent of human decision-making is emotional and what percent is logical, right? Okay, so Joy says 90, right? So I see Matthew says 50%. Alvin says 90% or 70% emotional. William says 60-40. Haven't seen the right answer yet. Jay says 95% emotional. Wow. Okay, have not seen the right answer. What percent of human decision-making is emotional? What percent is logical? DeJones says 70-30, right? And John, you might be a little bit delayed there. Stacy Provo gets the right answer. She's the first one I saw. It's 100% emotional. Human decision-making is 100% emotional. And the reason we know this is when somebody gets their limbic system damaged, they're fine. They lose the capacity for emotion. They're fine, except they can't make a single decision. And that's the debilitating part. And this brings us to the opportunity of stories. Stephen B booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Stephen B. Nice work, right? It's 100% emotional and it's very quickly. Our capacity for emotion is like 20 million bits a second. We can process logic like 40 bits a second. All right. Our emotional brains are orders of magnitude more powerful. So the reason stories are so important is because stories are how we convey emotion. It's like what Maya Angelou said. People are going to remember how you make them feel, not the data. People that walk around and say, we make data-driven decisions. No, you don't. I mean, the initial decision, like when you guys joined this workshop today, Nancy G booked a call. Nice job, Nancy. We look forward to talking to you, right? When you guys booked this workshop today and you came on and you saw my face and you heard my voice, right? You're like, you quickly decided whether you liked me, you didn't like me, you liked the sound of my voice. I mean, it was all very quick. And now you're just like taking in data to rationalize the emotional decision that's already been made. Right? So like stories are super important. So if you're not using story in your stuff, it really, really matters. And you want to use story everywhere in your resume, in your follow-up, right? We like you, Jay. I appreciate that, right? You want to use story everywhere. Okay. So I'll tell you a story. Notice I'm about to tell a story. One time I was taking applications for a program, got an application from this woman named Maggie, young woman. In her application, she wrote how the summer before she'd been in a terrible car accident and her arm had been severed. That's quite a story. So we brought her into the program, waiting for the first day. I'm thinking about accessibility. Am I going to have accommodations, right? And Andy, right, we're going to message you after this, and yeah, there'll be a replay, right? So like, but I give away stuff to people who are here live, like Elizabeth K, who just booked a call. All right, let's make sure we take care of Elizabeth with that cool course, right? This cool LinkedIn course. Okay, so like, thanks, Elizabeth. We look forward to talking to you. Okay, so Maggie walks in the first day, 2 arms. Now it was bandaged from where it had been partially severed and reattached, and Maggie was doing some physical therapy. Now, was I pissed off that Maggie had 2 arms? Of course not. I was so happy Maggie had both of her arms. And I remember that story to this day because of how it made me feel. You want to use story in your job application. And if you're not, you're really leaving stuff on the table, but not David H, because David H is going to come talk to us. We're going to get your job search sorted for you, David H. Look forward to talking to you. All right, guys, I got another question for you. Who's this guy? What's this guy called? I noticed there were some people from Idaho here earlier. I'll give you a hint. This guy is from Idaho. What's this kid's name? What's this guy called? Amber Hughes. I see Amber. Amber's quick on the draw here. I think we already took care of Amber, but Alvin, it's not Carrot Top, Octavian Moody, Corey May, and Joy Colburn. And I think we already took care of Amber Hughes, but let's make sure we take care of those 4 with this cool LinkedIn course. This is Napoleon Dynamite. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with Napoleon Dynamite, first of all, like, if you haven't seen this movie, stop your job search and go watch this fine piece of cinema. Come on, folks. We're trying to create a society here. I mean, really. And I don't want to ruin it for you, but Napoleon's this high school kid. He sort of beats to his own drum. In this particular scene, he finds himself on stage in front of the entire school, all of his classmates. He's managed to get a cassette tape up to the sound booth, and he's on the hook to do some sort of performance. And this is unplanned. So the music starts playing, and Napoleon's sitting there, and he just starts to do this crazy dance. I mean, he just metaphorically opens the kimono. I mean, it is wild. And when he's done, he's sort of panting and sweaty, and all of his classmates are like this, and then they burst into applause because it's so authentic. Jamie Kern-Lima, the founder of It Cosmetics, says everybody's a good dancer if they commit fully, and she's right. Hey, Jeff B., you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, right? Authenticity. Alice F. booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Alice, right? And guys, let's make sure we're taking care of all these people that are booking calls with the course, okay? Especially if I miss you. I don't want to miss anybody, right? Okay? This brings us to the strategy of authenticity. People are going to hire you because of who you are, not in spite of it. And let me ask you a question. Who do humans hire? I'll tell you, humans. Humans hire humans. Now I can hear all of you collectively saying, Eric, what about the ATF? What about AI? What about the algorithm? I hear you. How's that been working for you? In an increasingly automated world, the opportunity is to be more human, not less. And those of you who've been working at double time to try and please the algorithm, how's that been going? I already know, and I'm sorry that's been happening to you. People who are out there saying, well, you got to have an ATS optimized resume. Nah, it doesn't work, right? Humans hire humans, all right? So rather than trying to be proficient in Microsoft Office, I'm even going to do this as Thurston Howell III. You want to be proficient in Microsoft Office, but not Thomas P, because Thomas P just booked a call. Tell Lovey. It's great, Thomas P. I don't know if you know who Thurston Howell III is, Thomas, but we look forward to talking to you, right? Stop trying to be anything other than you are. Kevin J booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Kevin J. Nice work. Okay, humans hire humans. The opportunity is to be human. You want to be the best Michael and the best Corey and the best Kevin and the best Jay that you could possibly be, because the good news is nobody can be a better Jenny Morrison than Jenny Morrison. Right? She's got that locked down. So that's the opportunity. So many examples of this. One time I was working with this woman named Nina, right? And we went through Nina's resume, and I said, Nina, Jennifer Z booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Jennifer Z. Working with Nina, and I said, Nina, there's an issue with your resume. And she's like, what? I'm like, I don't have any evidence on here that you're a human. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, what do you like to do for fun? And she's like, well, and she sort of hemmed and hawed. And finally I got out of Nina that she had a pen collection. I'm like, well, that's super effing weird. We got to put that on there. She's like, no. So I hear from Nina a month later. She goes into an interview. They talk about pens for 30 minutes and she gets the job. I cannot tell you how many clients come to work with us and they adopt this strategy and they get hired real damn fast. Vatsal P booked a call. Good job, Vatsal P. Right? This is how you get hired fast. Right? We're going to talk more about this. The opportunity, authenticity is your superpower. Okay, let's talk about Abe Lincoln, who said, give me 6 hours to cut down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. This brings us to the idea of systems. There's nothing wrong with you, my friends. Eddie W., there's nothing wrong with you. Eddie just booked a call. Hey, Dan, we look forward to talking to you too, right? Right? Look forward to talking to you, Don. Sorry, did I call you Dan? It's Don, right? The results you're currently getting are perfectly attuned to your current system. So if you want to get different results than the results you've been getting, you're going to want to adopt a different system. The opportunity is not to work like some of you currently have the system of I'm just going to work really hard. Some of you currently have the system of I'm going to hide my age. Some of you currently have the system of I'm going to put a big paragraph at the top of my resume talking about me, right? It has completely no context. That'll show them. Some of you have this system of I'm going to take off everything but the last 15 years of my experience because some 20-something recruiter told me that's the thing to do. Some of you have the system of, well, it's all about ATS. Some of you currently have the system of the reason I can't get the job is because of the economy. How are all those systems working? Yeah, Bryn, we look forward to talking to you, Bryn, right? So you're going to want to have a system. This isn't about you. There's nothing wrong with you, right? It's just your system is not working. And the reason we know it's not working is because you don't have job offers. For a lot of you, this is your current system. And folks, I got to hand it to you. You've done a beautiful job with this system. I mean, you've tried every setting and combination of levers and buttons. And my heart goes to you. And you wonder why you're not able to steer your job search to success. This is the reason. This is the system that's available. There's all sorts of bells and whistles and buzzers and dials that you don't even know about. Now, look, you could spend a lot of time and money going from this system to this system, or you could just get some help. Right? You could get some help, right? So we're going to talk a lot more about systems. So how do you put all of this to work? So I'm going to spring one on my team. We just had a client who joined our program. It's Jeff Borker, guys. Hopefully you can find this. Jeff Borker. I just added him yesterday, Jess and Chris. Let's see if you can find Jeff. So Jeff joined. Hey, Melinda D, you booked a call. So Jeff joined our program just a couple of months ago, and here's the result he got. I just want to show you. He put all this to work. Let's see if we can play Jeff, please.
Well, first, will you tell us your name?
Jeff Borker. I just want to thank all of you guys. I didn't know how fast this was going to work. And you guys have all been great. I mean, all the feedback that I've gotten from you and from Eric and from Diana and the group as a whole is very supportive, very, very uplifting. Everyone's willing to help out. And it's just been a great experience. It's something that I won't forget. It's something that I'm going to take a lot of these concepts into my work activity. The job that I'm going into really is a dream job for me. I was just like, this is something I have to do because 2.5 years of doing the same thing. Again, nothing was working. I was getting rejections. I was getting ghosted. But I would say put any predispositions away. Go into it with an open mind. Do the webinar. Do the introductory call, and really just do it because it works.
Hey there, nice job. Hey, and Stacy, it looks like you know Jeff. That's pretty interesting, Stacy Provo. Hey, Melinda D, we look forward to talking to you. And Peter P, we look forward to talking to you too. Okay, so I have a program. Again, guys, we're going to talk more about it. It's called Get Hired Fast. I'm not even going to tell you about it. Just know that it works super well. If you're interested in learning more about the program, the only requirements are you're not going to book a call and then like ghost us because that sucks. Don't do that. It's just like not nice. You're going to be at least open to the idea of investing in yourself, right? You want people to invest in you, like investing in yourself, and you're ready to get started, but we're going to talk more about this. Okay. So here we go, folks. 9 tactics. Here we go. I love this crowd. Okay. All right, guys. So this is where some people are watching the replay, and I like to talk real damn fast because they probably already have me on 2.5 speed. And if I talk like this, it's like 12 speed and it really freaks them out. Those of you who are here live, thank you for indulging me. If you get nothing else from this workshop, I want you to pay attention to this. Okay, let's say there's a lake, and in the middle of the lake, someone's drowning. Now they're surrounded by other people in little boats. Okay, so somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning, and they're surrounded by other people in little boats. All right, if that was a job search, who's the person drowning? Okay, and EV, you booked a call, right? And JMO, you look at where there's a yeah, JMO, we'll send you the link so you can book a call. We see there, Andy. Okay, so there's a lake and somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning and they're surrounded by other people. Right, so Lewis says me, Martin says me. Okay, guys, Oh, Steven Sussnar and Brian Gordon. I like your answer because you guys are saying it's the company. You're right. So let's make sure we take care of Steven Sussnar and Brian Gordon. A lot of you feel like I'm the one drowning and my heart goes to you because it can feel that way when you've got bills and you've got family. Here's what's more accurate. You're not drowning. The company is. And the reason we know they're drowning is they've told us. They put out a job description, say, help, we're drowning in work. You're the one in the boat. Now, a lot of you, if you're like a lot of job seekers, are acting as though you're the one drowning. You're like, oh, pick me. I'd be the best one. And the person in the water's like, well, I need help, but not from that guy, right? Because needy is creepy. You don't want to come across needy. You want to come from a place of service. And this brings us to tactic number 1, which is mindset. Most people are in the business of, I hope they pick me. I hope they pick me. Stop. This isn't about you, my friends. It's about them. They're the ones drowning. Stop making it so much about yourself, right? You want to approach this from a place of service. Sheila M., we look forward to talking to you, Sheila M. Nice job, right? You want to approach this from a place of service. People don't want to be sold. They want to be served, right? We're going to talk a lot more about this. Rachel D., you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Rachel. Okay, next tactic. Here we go. Some of you have seen the show Deadliest Catch, right? Alaskan fishermen, they put these big steel cages on the bottom of the ocean floor, hoping to catch some crab. They put a little bait. And the way this works is crabs come along and they're like, free lunch. And Charlie the crab, and then there's Cheryl and Sally and more crabs join. Eventually it's a crab party. But pretty soon all the bait's gone. And suddenly one of the crabs, he's like, I'm out of here, boys. Here's what happens. If a crab tries to leave, the other crabs will pull that crab back in because crabs like being with other crabs. It makes them feel safe. They'll even pull off one of that crab's limbs. They'll even do a crab murder to keep all the crabs in there. Meanwhile, more and more crabs are joining. And of course, the sad part is they all get pulled up to become dinner. It's the riskiest thing of all. This brings us to tactic number 2, which is your environment. Some of you are laboring under the misinterpretation of reality that the reason you're not getting traction in your job search is because you got mustard on your shirt, or the economy, or your age, or fill in the blank. The market's saturated. Okay, right? Nah, it's more than likely you don't have a system and your environment's not serving you. And when I say your environment, I'm talking about your emotional environment, your psychological environment, your intellectual environment, your spiritual environment, your physical environment. It all really matters. Environment eats motivation for lunch. This is what research teaches us. So you're going to want to safeguard your environment and be really intentional about the environment you have as much as you can, right? It's really, really important. Some of you are familiar with the idea of reference groups, right? Where the average weight, income, education of the 5 people we hang out with most. Yep. Right. And so if the people you're hanging out with, this could be authors from like 100 years ago. Hey, Sean P., you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, right? You're going to want to optimize this. It's one of the main things we help clients do when they join our program is to optimize their environment. Game changing. All right, guys, on to tactic number 3. It's hard to hit a blurry target. This brings us to the idea of vision. Some of you know the proverb, where there is no vision, the people perish. That's right. Right? You want to have, sometimes I'll talk to job seekers. I'm like, how much money you want to make? They're like, anywhere between $50,000 and $150,000. I'm like, okay, well, what do you want to do? Well, I want to help people. I'm like, that's beautiful. And it's really effing vague, right? This has to do with a thing called the reticular activating system. If I say red, all of you watching this are suddenly now more aware of the color red just because I just put it in your brain, right? Our brain will literally find what we ask it to look for. And if we are unclear about what we want it to find, it won't find anything. Greg M. booked a call. Nice job, Greg M. Right? The reason race car drivers, when they drive a race, when they drive 500 miles in a circle, they avoid looking at the outer walls because the car will tend to go where they look. And if you don't have vision, you're just going to be like just one of those race car drivers driving 500 miles in a circle. Sound familiar? Yeah, you want to have clarity. It's not a nice to have. It's essential. All right, guys, I got another question for you. Here we go. If I went to the store and I bought this thing, what would I be buying? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Right? If I went to the store and I bought one of these, what would I be buying? Let's see if anybody gets this right. What would I be buying if I bought one of these things? So Amy says a drill, right? Corey says a drill. Joy says drill. Lisa says drill. Sammy says drill. I don't see the right answer yet. Andrew says a brand. Things attached by screws, says Martin. Okay, a solution, says Frederick. Okay, Josh L says a screw in a hole. I don't see the right answer. Oh, Ruth. It's close, Ruth. It's close. I don't see the right answer yet. I'm looking. I want to see the right answer. Nobody's got it. William says screwdriver. I'm going to give it just a few seconds. Andy says Ryobi brand. Should have bought it. Milwaukee, says Dimitri. Okay, I don't see the right answer yet. So you know what you're actually buying here? It's not bad, Quentin. You're actually buying holes. Nobody needs this sitting around their garage. What I actually need is a hole. And actually, I don't need a bunch of holes in my wall. What I actually need is a place to put the hook. And actually, that doesn't make any sense. I don't need a bunch of hooks hanging out of my wall. I'll gash my arm open. What I actually want is a place to hang the photo. Gladys, did you say holes? All right, let's make sure we take care of Gladys. She says that she said holes. So let's take care of Gladys. And Marguerite, we look forward to talking to you, right? Yeah, okay, holes. It's a hole, right? And actually, I don't even need the hook or the picture. What I actually want is the feeling I get when I look at the picture of my beautiful family that's hanging on the hook that's in the hole that's made by the drill. And this brings us to the question of giving them safety. There's only one reason they're going to hire you, my friends. And it's not your experience. It's not your qualifications. It's not who you know. Hey, Karen L., we look forward to talking to you. It's none of that stuff. The one reason they will hire you is, do they trust you? That's it. That's it. And the way we give people trust, as Brene Brown taught us, is through vulnerability and giving them safety. So many struggle to get really clear. Like, you want to get really, really clear about what they want, what they like, what they think, right? A lot of people are just talking about themselves. That's a hot dumpster fire, right? And so if we do talk about them, we don't want to talk about the drill. We want to talk about the thing that keeps them up at night when they're trying to go to bed and get to sleep. A lot of times when people see this workshop, right, and they go off and they try and do the stuff on their own, they come back to me, they're like, Eric, I did it on my own. And this is like 6 months later, and God knows how much money they've wasted not earning in that amount of time. I'm like, show me. They're busy talking about the drill instead of like what keeps them up at night, right? Give them safety. My friends, you see how this is so much more sophisticated than ATS and hiding your age? We're just working at a different level here. That other stuff is like, yeah, doesn't work. This is how you get hired fast. Russ G, you booked a call. Nice job, Russ G. Let's make sure we take care of Russ. All right, guys, next tactic. Here we go. Resumes. Now, look, guys, resumes are kind of stupid, and they're the least bad way we've come up with, right? Since like Roman times. And they're tactic number 5, the paper you send, right? Your cover letter, your follow-up, what you send, when you send, how you send it, where you send it, what you say, it all matters. The last thing you're going to want to do is do best practices with my resume, right? So there's software out there that'll make your resume look like everybody else's. Stop. It doesn't work, right? If you're trying to show them that you're unique and exceptional, why would you want your stuff to look like everybody else's? You don't. It's professional camouflage. Realize that the paper you send is just a communication piece, and you want to communicate with them in a way they cannot ignore. So for instance, look at my resume. I got hyperlinks, because there's a good chance they're going to be looking at this on a computer screen. Do you have hyperlinks on yours? I got logos. This is the most authentic Eric Woodard resume there is. I wonder what the most authentic Stacy Provo and Josh L. and Russ G resumes there might be. I wonder what the Stephanie F resume would be that's most authentic. We look forward to talking to you, Stephanie F. This is how you get hired fast. Okay? All right, guys, here we go. On to the next tactic. We're trucking along here. Here we go. Yeah, that's right. Software makes your resume look like everybody else. That's right, Andy. Okay. If a job application is submitted and there is no follow-up, does it even make a sound? I would humbly suggest that it doesn't. All right. So John asked, will it get past our firewall? Let's make sure we mark that question. We'll get to some of these questions, right? If a job application is submitted, does it even make there's no follow-up, does it even make a sound? Nah, it doesn't. And I would say this brings us to tack number 6, which is follow-up. Some of you apply and you're like, well, hope I hear back on that one. I don't know if you have that weird accent. You probably don't. So I apologize. Hope I hear back on that one. Don't do that. People are going to believe what you show them more than what you tell them. You can have all this stuff saying how you take risks and take initiative, and then you don't follow up, right? We want to be willing to offend in the name of service, right? Some of you are like, ooh, I don't want to be pushy, right? If somebody was floating face down in the water and you were in that boat and you said, hey, buddy, you okay? And they didn't move. You wouldn't be like, I don't want to bother them. No, you'd jump in the water, you'd flip them over, you'd lock lips, start doing mouth to mouth. And if they came to and they were like, lady, I was just snorkeling, you'd be like, my bad. And you'd be fine with it, right? You'd be fine with it. Exactly. Ray, you have a copy of the Eric Woodard resume. Ray, come book a call with us, right? We'll talk about it. Michael T booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Michael T. Okay. So this brings us to follow up. It's not pushy. Okay. Initiative is rewarded. You want to follow up in a way that shows them that you're not messing around. You want to give somebody safety, follow up even when they're like, no. What they think about you is none of your business. This isn't about people. This isn't about pleasing potential employers. This is about serving them. So much opportunity. Okay. So some of you are like, but Eric, I would follow up and I don't know how. I don't have their contact info. Let me help. First of all, don't follow up with recruiters because they're professionally trained ninjas to keep you away from the hiring manager. Because if they can just do that, then they have a job, right? If you're talking to the hiring manager, we don't need recruiters. So they don't like that. So I have a course. It's called How to Contact Anybody. So those of you who are like, well, I can't follow up because I don't have the person's contact info. Okay. And by the way, when you follow up, you're not going to be like, ooh, I'm really interested in your position, or, ooh, I'm really passionate, because that's all about you. You're going to follow up in a way that makes it about them. I have a course. It's called How to Contact Anybody. I would like to give it away to everyone who's on this call. And there's still so many of you. Here's how you get the course. One, you're going to go to my LinkedIn profile. We're going to put the link in the chat right now. Thank you, Chris and Jesse. You guys are doing a great job. Go to my LinkedIn profile. That's step one. Step two, you are going to follow me or connect with me. And step three, you are going to message me on LinkedIn the word chicken. The word chicken. I can't do a good chicken, right? And we will send you the link to get this free course. Okay, so 3 steps. Go to my LinkedIn, follow me, send me a message with the word chicken, and we'll take care of you. And that way you'll never have to worry about like not being able to contact somebody. Yep. Mirke, you're going to follow me on LinkedIn. All right, guys, let's go to this next tactic because I want to make sure we have as much time for Q&A as we can. Some of you are like, laboring under the misinterpretation of reality that it's really strong. Hey, Jason P., you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, right? That it's really strong to like do this on your own, right? And like some of you have seen the Academy Awards where like an actor gets up there and she gets up there and she gets some big prize and she's like, I got nobody to thank. Nah, it doesn't happen like that, right? She gets up there and she's like, this person and this person and this person and this person, right? They got to drag her off stage. This brings us to the idea of networking. When we ask others for help, it makes us look strong, not weak, because we wouldn't ask for help unless we thought their help was worth asking for. So a lot of you, if I said, how many people do you know in the world? And if you're at least 30, you'd be like, I don't know, 1,000. I'd be like, great. How many of those people know you're on the job search? You'd be like, a good number. I'm like, well, how many? Oh, a third. And I'd be like, well, how would they know? And you say, well, I posted it on LinkedIn 3 months ago. Hey, Wendy, yes, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you. All right, I posted it on LinkedIn 3 months ago. So they would have had to gone to your LinkedIn 3 months ago, seen that profile, and remembered it all this time. And now you'd be getting nervous. You want to have a system for asking for help, right? Ask for help. It doesn't make you look weak. It makes you look strong. And by the way, doing one-offs is really hard because it's sort of like, hey, Madonna, cool name, Madonna. We look forward to talking to you, right? Like it's sort of like fishing with a single line. You got to get the right bait on the right fish at the right time, at the right depth. I mean, golly, that it might work out, right? The opportunity instead is to have a system where you filter the ocean. That's how you're going to get hired fast. It's one of the systems we use like in our program, right? That helps people get hired real damn fast. No one-offs. All right, guys, just 2 more tactics. Here we go. Interviews. Here is the best interview advice in the world. Are you ready? Robbie S. booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Robbie. Okay. Make sure we take care of Robbie. Here's in an interview, they're really only asking one question, and this is it. Can we trust you? Right? If we had like a universal translator, right? And we said, tell me about a time you made a mistake. You'd go, mah, mah, mah. Can we trust you? Right? Tell me about your proudest professional achievement. Mah, mah, mah. Can we trust you? It'd be pretty funny. So rather than worrying about answering their questions, instead, you're going to focus on giving answers and telling stories that builds trust, because that's really all they care about. They're just making mouth noise to get you to make mouth noise so they can evaluate the mouth noise to decide if they can trust you. That's it. And it's a 100% emotional decision. Not based on fact, right? So instead of focusing on the questions, focus on how you can build trust. Game changing. All right, guys, final tactic here. Offers. Two things here. One, you don't have to worry if you're qualified for a job before you apply. They'll have an opinion. Trust me. Okay, they'll have an opinion. Two, you don't even have to worry if you want a job unless and until you get the offer. Because unless and until that happens, you really don't know what you're negotiating with. Now, I have a bunch of clients. Yeah, Ray, we're going to be sending around the replay, right? As long as we message you on LinkedIn. So don't worry, right? So like I had a client just yesterday. They were in a negotiation with a job, and my client was like, they're going to offer me about 5,000. Yes. And they want to know if I'll take it. I'm like, have they given you something in writing? No. So you just say that's possible. Let them fall in love with you, right? Let them put it in writing. And it's then that you get curious and you co-create a result, right? You co-create an agreement that serves everybody, right? A lot of times people pay for this program that we do just in are helping them negotiate the offers that they get pretty damn fast. Okay. So you want to apply liberally from a place of service. Hi, Andrew H. You booked a call. We look forward to talking to you. All right, guys. So look, you're going to want to write this down. And I'm going to take a drink so I don't lose my voice. This is how you get hired fast. It's right here. So easy, right? Well, I don't know if it's easy, but it's pretty simple. You do these things, you get hired fast. And the reason we know this is I got a program. Now, look, folks, a lot of this stuff is not Googleable. I'm sure a lot of you are here, and some of you are taking notes and you're like, this is different than what I've heard before. Everybody else says hide your age, like do the ATS game, right? Like, sell yourself, be impressive. This is the opposite. Thank you for noticing. You're not going to be able to Google this stuff. All right, at all. Right. And some of you are like, well, I'm going to go off. Hey, Caitlin, we look forward to talking to you. Some of you are like, I'm going to go off and do this on my own. Remember those people I talked about I'm starting to hear from them now. They attended my workshop, right? In like April. I'm hearing a lot of people that did this in April because like, Eric, I'm still on the job hunt. I'm like, show me what you're doing. They're not doing it, right? They're making it about themselves. So being on a job hunt is not cheap. Here's what I mean. If this is how much money you want to make in a year, this is how much it's costing you per month. This is how much it's costing you per week, which means if we can get you hired just a couple of weeks faster, like you win, or you could just keep doing what you're doing and pay this much every week. Now, look, folks, I mentioned I got a program. It's really good. Comes with one-on-one coaching. We have group coaching every day, right? It's like there's an online community that you think this was really good. Wait till you see the paid version of the course. It's amazing and it works. And we've got the receipts, right? We help you with a lot of things, right? With mindset and with your LinkedIn and with like trying to figure out what you want to do and like cover letters and resumes. We send you opportunities. And Cheryl, you're asking how much the course is. So the thing about it is before we get into cost, like book a call, right? Because that'll give you a sense of how much the program is. And depending on whether we think we can help you, it's going to cost different things. But I will say, look, if we can get you hired a couple weeks sooner, you're going to pay for the course and then some. And it depends like how, like I'll talk about cost a little bit here in a second, but like this works. Here are some of the people. Hey, Tyron L. We look forward to talking to you, right? So Jessie was a nonprofit executive. She was in the program, I think, for just under 3 months and got a couple of offers before she took the one that she wanted. Rob was in the program. He was actually living overseas and didn't want his job search to take forever. Natisha says, how do we know if it works? Okay, Nishita, I'll show you here just a second, right? We have data. It's actually one of the first times I'm super excited about it. So Rob didn't want his job search to take a long time. He joined the program, and I think he had a job like shortly after he came to the States. Wayne had a bunch of offers that he said no to, and then he finally joined. Amy was one of these people who kept getting like to the final round of an interview, and then she kept getting no, and we got that sort of. John was like a CEO level guy, we got him into an offer that I think he's still in, right? And just Philip was a younger guy who got 2 offers, early professional. So all different levels, all different industries, right? Some people have programs that are like, we specialize in this. You know, my experience is you can have an art historian and a rocket scientist standing next to each other, and they'll have the same issues. And you can have 2 rocket scientists standing next to each other, and they'll have different issues. This is by the individual, right? So that's why we offer an individualized program. So look, Nishita is asking, how do we know it works? Here's how we know it works. And I'm so excited about this. This is the first time I've ever showed this to anybody, right? This is brand new data because people always ask us this. So for people who complete the program, here's how fast they get hired. The idea is, the goal is we're going to get you hired in 3 months or less. And if it doesn't happen, we stay with you until it does happen. Now, look, there's a few people, for whatever reason, it takes longer, right? Some people, they pause, they get sick, right? But for most people, we get you hired in 3 months or less. This is the data. We actually have data. It's very exciting. I'm geeking out about this. So the question is not whether this works. The question is, are you going to keep doing what you've been doing to get the same results you've been getting, or do you want to do something different? Because continue to do what you've been doing is sort of like being a hamster on the hamster wheel. And I want to take a stand for you. So look, guys, if you think this is even a possibility for you, hi, Isabel. We look forward to talking to you. Like, we got a lot of you are worried about money. Okay. Like if you're watching this workshop, you can afford this. We have financing programs that boil this down to a couple $100s a month, because a lot of times people ask me, can I pay you after I get the job? Not exactly, but almost. Okay. And you pay the rest off when you get the job. And look, if you join this program, people, my staff was like, don't say that. It sounds salesy. And I'm like, no, I'm going to say it because it's true, right? If you stay with this program, we place 100% of the people that join this program and stick with it. Hey, Marcus, look forward to talking to you, right? We're not going to leave you by the side of the road. As long as you're doing the work, and this is the result, right? This is the result that happens. So it's awesome. It's amazing. We've got the receipts. If this is something you're interested in doing, book a strategy session with us. 3 requirements, please. I'm begging you. Do not book a call and then get cold feet and then decide you're not going to show up for the call. Don't do that, right? Just don't do that. It sucks. Don't do that. You don't like it when employers do that to you. Don't do it to us, right? Be the change you seek. In the same way, you want somebody to pay you a lot of money, invest in yourself. Be the change you seek, and at least be ready to get started right away. So if that's you, book a call, my friends, right? And if nothing else, you'll get some great coaching out of it because my coaches are awesome. That's the link. Hi, Krista F. We look forward to talking to you. All right, guys, we've got a few minutes for questions, and I apologize. I actually, I've got an appointment. I've got a little bit of time to go past the hour, but I'm going to show you my full gigantic head here. It's very beautiful, I know. Let's answer some questions. All right, let's bring it on, guys. Jess and Chris, you guys are doing a great job. Hey, Stacy, we look forward to talking to you. All right, let's look at some questions. What are some questions? So John asks, will that get past the firewall? So John, I presumably you're asking about ATS. So yeah, there is software out there, algorithms. It's not like there's one Skynet matrix thing. That's not a thing. Companies use software to basically help get their stuff into a database, and it's all different. So you don't want to spend a lot of time trying to game that system. Go ahead and apply, and then you're going to circumvent that because and the way you circumvent it is you find the hiring manager, somebody that speaks your language. Hey, Martin R., we look forward to talking to you, right? Somebody that speaks your language, who's desperate, and you say, hey, make them feel seen, heard, and understood. And actually, one of the tactics we use to great effect is ignoring the rejection letter. Ignoring the rejection letter. Those of you who've been getting rejection letters, so Jay's like, what do you mean? Right? Ignoring the rejection letter. So if you get one of those automated rejections, just ignore it because it doesn't mean anything. So actually, guys, let's get ready to show him Andrew. Andrew did this very tactic, and this was earlier this year, and he got hired. Let's show him Andrew.
I got a job offer thanks to Win at Work. I really appreciate all the help and materials and one-on-one coaching. I applied cold to an organization I was interested in and received the automated response, "We're pursuing other candidates." And then there was another posting for the same role or similar role in the same organization. And this time I really used a lot of the Win at Work process. I also really appreciate the coaching I received on interview prep from my coach, Patrick, and the Win at Work materials on interview prep. I feel like I really impressed the HR recruiter. She scheduled me for another interview with program directors a couple days later. They were also really impressed and said I had a lot of good answers, and I really just did what I learned in this program. Make it about them, talk about them, be authentic, and now I have my new job offer.
So I hope you caught that. Andrew just ignored the rejection letter and yeah, he got hired. So that's how you handle that. All right, let's do a couple more questions here. So Satish, so what about the introduction versus the statement of follow-up or contradictory? Do you say you thought you would never hear from the White House? Did you follow? No, I never, dude, when this was many, many years ago. I was a much younger man. I never followed up. I got lucky. I didn't know this stuff. I wish I had. So, yeah, you're going to want to follow up from a place of service, making it about them, making them feel seen, heard, and understood. It's one of the things we talk about in the program. So absolutely, 100%. All right, next question. When will the recording be available? I think it's going out on email probably in the next 45 minutes or so. So yeah, you'll get this recording real damn fast. Hope that serves, Jay. Okay, next question. Do you teach AI bypass and get interviews fast? So it's not really hey Gwen, we look forward to talking to you. So it's not really it's not really you're bypassing the AI. It's just that you're applying, and if they have AI, that's fine. But we still have thumbs, right? Last time I checked. So we're going to find a real human to talk to, right? Because if the reason they're going to hire us is they trust us, the thing about AI and computers is they lack the ability to trust. That's not a thing. So we don't want to invest a lot of our time and energy trying to, please, impress, convince computers, because they lack the ability to trust. And if that's the reason they're going to hire us, we want to find a real human because they have that capacity. All right. Let's see here. Okay, Miguel, we look forward to talking to you, Miguel. So Wade says, I don't understand your point about using hyperlinks on your resume. We're suggesting to make your resume different. Yeah. So it shows, because people are going to believe what you show them more than what you tell them, right? So if you want to show that you're somebody who knows how to use technology, then you put in hyperlinks. If you want to show that you're somebody who's different and unique, that's somebody who thinks four-dimensionally, you put in the hyperlink. It's like that, right? That's the idea there. Also, is it okay for your resume to be longer than, so I've never heard of anybody not getting hired because of the length of the resume. I have heard people not getting hired because the resume wasn't about the person receiving it. So I can have a 5-page resume. Hey, Paul K, we look forward to talking to you, right? I can have a 5-page resume, and if it's about them, best resume ever. I can have a half-page resume, and if it's all about me, doesn't matter. That's what I would say. It's not about the length. It's not about the number of pages. It's about what the resume is about. I think I just spoke English there. I'm not sure. Okay, next question. Good questions, guys. All right, Karthi. Trying to get back to work after a break, and I have a couple of masters, but no response. How can I help? Well, Karthi, I notice that everything that you're talking about there, and it's okay, Karthi, right? You're talking about yourself. Hey, I'm trying to get back to work after I've had a break, and I have a couple of masters. So it could be that the reason you're not getting answers is because you're talking about yourself. So instead of saying, hey, here's my situation, say, you know what? There's some organization out there that needs this and this and this. There's so much possible for them. Make that switch and watch yourself start to get interviews. Karthi, I hope that serves you. All right, let's see what else we got here. Peter Parker. That is an amazing name. I don't know if that's an alias or not, but I love it. How do you balance storytelling, the why and context with results metrics? Yeah, so they don't really care about metrics. And that big tech friend of yours, they're lying. People aren't convinced by and I actually interviewed with Amazon. This was like 10 years ago. And they said, we care about metrics. And I brought in this glossy thing and had all sorts of numbers. They didn't even bother to look at it. That's amazing, Peter Parker. Thank your parents, right? So like, see, the reason people want numbers, the reason they want, here's another thing. Like, stop putting months on your resume. That's just some nervous recruiter somewhere that wants to be able to quantify you. Because if they can just quantify you, then they can put you into a calculator and they don't have to take responsibility for anything. It's the same thing with, metrics. If we can just compare, but anytime we try and quantify people, it's problematic. It doesn't work. Melissa F, you rule. You booked a call. We look forward to talking to you. So don't. Hey, Jason, we look forward to, I hope to see you, Jason, right? Like, so don't buy into it, right? Sometimes people say we are data-driven because they don't want to get sued, because if only they're data-driven, then there's no human decision-making, and then they can't get blamed. People are just trying to keep themselves safe. I don't buy it that big data companies do metrics. I mean, like, how's that been working? All those metrics you put in your resume. Nope. Notice that even in this presentation, right, I showed my bar graph. Look how many people signed up before I showed that graph. Nobody is going to sign up because of that graph. It's about trust. Some of you are listening to this. You're like, that guy sounds like a scam. I love you. I wish you well. If you've gotten scammed before, I'm sorry. That sucks. Some of you are hearing this. You're like, this sounds different. This guy might be able to help me. Fantastic. This is about trust, not data. I would humbly suggest. Karen F booked a call. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Let's see here. Next question. And then I got to go because I got to go get my shoulder fixed. So best practice is to drop the professional summary section. Yeah, because who's that about? And they're going to skip it because that's what you want them to see, right? So they're going to be like, well, I'll decide for myself. Thank you very much, John. And they're going to go straight to experience. John, if you've ever hired anybody, you know this firsthand. First thing they're going to look at is experience. They're just going to skip all that other stuff. Yep. That's right, John. You got it. All right. Next question. We're going to take 2 or 3 more. Rachel, does your service include sharing your network with us? Yeah. I know a lot of companies do that, Rachel, and it doesn't work because a lot of times people will find their way to my program because they, so yeah, Annette, like I'm the one that looks at resumes. I was just looking at a few before we got in this webinar. Yeah. So, yeah, you're so welcome. You're so welcome, Peter Parker. Right. So like the reason you using my network isn't going to work for you, Rachel, is because it's my network. Right. They know me and they don't know you, Rachel. So the opportunity is to use your network. And you might be like, well, I don't have one. Yes, you do. You just don't see it. And so your network is going to be much more powerful for you. And if you're like, well, but they don't know my industry, they don't need to know your industry. They're married to people. They have cousins and uncles and brothers and sisters and friends that are in your industry. Hey, Jeffrey E., you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you. So yeah, so my encouragement, don't invest in programs that promise that we're going to let you use our network. Yeah, don't do that. Doesn't work in my experience. All right, next question. What about ghost jobs, repeated post jobs? They're not really hiring. Yeah, so that's out there. It's probably not as big as some conspiracy theorists would have you believe. All the more reason to connect to real people. Right? Because if it is some kind of ghost job, right? Like companies do that because they want to look good or whatever. Connect to the real person. And that real person might be like, oh yeah, I didn't know we had a job posted, but we actually do need help. Let's explore what's possible. 100%. So look, guys, I know we're at the top of the hour and some of you have to go. So just acknowledge you for being here. Hope you got a lot out of this workshop. All right, 2 more questions and then we'll call it. Joshua P., you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Joshua. So yeah, so customized resumes. Yeah. We work because nobody's going to have a resume like you, Annette Stevenson. So we want your resume to be the most Annette Stevenson resume that there is, because that's how you're going to get hired fast, 100%. So we're going to help you do that. All right. One more question. You're so welcome, Jean-Luc. Any other questions? Maybe not. For Jess and Chris, they're like, he's answering questions so fast. So look, guys, if you're on this workshop, I just really want to acknowledge you for being here. You're so welcome, Andrew. Like being on the job hunt, there's nothing very linear or logical or fair about it. And especially if you've been on a long job hunt, I just acknowledge you. Like there are bright things on the horizon for you. You will figure this out. And if you're wanting help to just get this handled faster, or even just get some good coaching, like come book time with us. And if we think we can help you, like we'll take a stand for that. And if not, that's okay too. Either way, 100% cheering for you guys. Just really really acknowledge you for being here and wish you all the best. Take care, my friends.
I started job searching a month before I started the program. It took me between 6 months and a year since COVID to find contract jobs. So when I got the notification, the Win at Work, get hired fast, it was called Get Hired Fast email, I said, I just knew immediately this was the way to go to quicken the time. I immediately jumped on this because in the past, it had just taken so long to find work and find the right kind of work. I mean, I've had in my career a couple of really horrible contracts, and I knew my biggest problem in getting hired was first my resume. I felt comfortable about interviewing with companies. The interviews I was not worried about. It really was the resume. Doing that master resume from beginning to end with everything on it was incredibly freeing. I joined on 5/29 on 8/11. I had not only a job offer, but the job offer that I wanted. And that was incredible. When I got immersed in this whole program, there are so many great things here. Just learning all these new tools and tips. And it was the power hours. They were boosters. And I love the fact that they had a theme every week as you were, going through this process. And it was just so comforting to have that. And then the individual coaching sessions, those were great.
In the time we've got left, I'm curious, especially if there's somebody we haven't heard from yet. They've had a win, a loss. Angel, I got to ask you, what do we know, if anything? What do we know?
I got the job. Yay!
Whoa!
The offer. I'm moving in a week. Yeah, it's crazy. And I know when we first met, you're like, oh, let's get something by your birthday. And my birthday is in 4 days. So I was able to do it. Yay.
And I just want to acknowledge you. You dove in, you did it, you did the work.
Thank you.
Way to go.
It would not have been possible without signing up for this program, truly. I think it made the difference for me.
So good, Angel.
Yeah.
Really happy for you.
Yeah.
Super awesome. Congratulations to you. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Stephen Bullock. The reason I joined Win at Work was primarily Eric. I attended one of his, I think, LinkedIn webinars was how I connected with him. I'll say his sincerity came through. The fact that he truly cared about outcomes. I think it's so easy to say, well, I didn't get that job because I'm too old, too bald, too ugly, it doesn't matter what, you can fill in any vernacular you choose. At the end of the day, you really don't know why you were not selected. I will say the biggest fear that you guys helped, I think, getting over the fear of network bomb. I ultimately wrote 6 network bombs. Interestingly, the last one, which was hey, I found a job, super excited to let you know. With your guidance and following the program, I was successful. I have secured a job, which I start on Monday, which is about 4 days from now, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Hi, I'm Mason Fisk, and I live outside of Boston currently. Before I joined, ironically, my interviews were actually high, and then my applications were low. I was really looking for something that was very hands-on. I was someone who, again, I felt like I always could figure things out myself, not doing them correctly. But then once I got into the program, it was kind of the opposite. Yes, it was casting a wider net, but at the same time, it was being very thorough. It really is all about your network. Broaden my network, really put myself out there because I'm someone who is very keen on thinking I could do everything myself and I know what I'm doing, but sometimes you don't know everything, and that's really how the success for me came out of this program. I have a job offer starting on Monday. Again, without that guidance, I probably would have fumbled it. Again, if you're hesitant for any reason, I have to say it's worth every penny at the end of the day. Eric does know what he's doing. He's created a great program that really hits all points during the entire job application process. The courses are, very thorough, giving tips and tricks and guidance on how to negotiate and get through those stages once you have an offer. And for me personally, I was able to get, 25% more than I was previously making. Again, within almost 3 months, I'm back to work. So.
Oh gosh, this is going back in my memory. I would say I was probably searching for 2.5, 3 months before I came across Win at Work. I saw Eric. I had probably sent 20 resumes and I had had 2 different sets of interviews and never got any further. All I kept hearing was it is very competitive. It's so much different. And I just thought, you know what? Why am I doing this on my own? I need to find an expert to help me. I was in the midst of looking when I came across one of Eric's ads. It was an invitation to join a webinar. And so I did. He was great at building up and telling you what you needed to do and draw you in. I will say right off the gate, it was a completely different approach to job searching. Applying for jobs just isn't a fun thing. And it's easy to get burned out and it's easy to start thinking negatively and you just don't want to do it anymore. But you guys were always there, kept encouraging us to keep doing it. And so I did. So having that support to urge me to keep going was one. Number 2, the completely different format for the resume was amazing. It was like nothing that I had ever seen before. I have received a number of comments. I felt much more confident sending out that polished cover letter and that polished resume. How long does it typically take for someone in the Win at Work program to get a job? And he gave percentages, and I don't remember what they were, but X amount in the first 6 weeks. And then I think it was a larger percentage in the first 3 months. And I'm like, okay, that's what I need to aim for is those first 3 months. And I wasn't too far. I may have been a week or 2 past that, but what he said was true. So that's exciting. And I feel like I got the best of everything I was looking for.